Thank you. So when I'm doing total plus equals to element, and if we do this, it is saying that object, well, means this object is pointing to a global variable, and hence we are not able to access this total here. Instead of this, what I will do, I will create one element itself here, as map operator will be giving us one function directly. Control plus, I will do like this. So if we do like this, and years, if we map over the years, we can see this means each and every element 18, 20, 24, 25 are getting stored in years variable. How about if we are having 6, 45? Now we are having 6, we are passing the 6 parameters. And now we are able to extract all those parameters. How about only one? And at the time also we are able to extract the argument. So if we are using the rest operator, we don't have to worry about how many arguments we are passing. We can pass any number of arguments. The best case is like number of students for some course. So students can keep on varying. So at the time we can't create one fixed function where we will be knowing that these many students are present today and these many students are absent. Second thing, let's say you want to pass as many as value you want. You want to check if the person is adult or not. So for that, for the adult age limit is 18, or for the other countries it's 20 or something else. So you want one argument to be fixed, that is 18. 18 is the age limit, and next to the 18 it will be person age. Let's say I'm passing just 3 ages right now. So now we have to make a clear difference between the 18 and this. So at the time, what you will do, you write the limit. What it will do, as we've seen in parameters, first argument will taking the first value. Second argument will be taking the second value. Same goes here. Limit will be taking the value 18. It will get fixed, but rest of the values, on the rest of the values, we are using the rest operator. So all these years, 15, 18, 20, will get collected in years variable. How we can check it? For that, I will do years. Years is what? Array. So in that, I can run a for each loop. For each. So again, it's like a map only. It will be taking. It will be taking each and every value at a time, like first 15, then 18, then 20. So I will say current, and I will log out, and I will log out, let's say 18 greater than current. Now we are getting true, false, false. Let's say you want some other value to be also be fixed. Let's say you can say something whatever you want. Let's say name. So here you can pass the name, and I will do log name, and I'm not using limit here. It's limit. And mark, we are getting the name mark. Second, it's a second argument, and then we are using the limit, and like this it is working. And this is how we use rest operator. We'll be not using rest operator quite often, but we'll be using the spread operator where we want to spread one object value to another, so that we don't have an object within another object. At the time, accessing that key from an object, it will be difficult. Last comes default parameters. Default param service. ES5, I will create one function, John, and I will pass f name, l name, year of birth, I will pass, and last nationality. Nationality. And instead of John, I will say person. And here, all what I will do, I will just log it out. F name, L name, and here I will pass a person, John Smith, year of birth is 1990, and I will say India. If I run my program, it's running correctly. But I'm having a different person now. Let's say Mark, but we don't know his year of birth. And now if we try to console.log, we are getting undefined. But let's say right now we have not written any logic here. Now let's consider if we are getting undefined, our logic will get wrong and we will get some sort of error according to the logic of the function. So how can we prevent it? In ES5, if we are not having year of birth, we have to manually check. Like I will use ternary operator here. I will say year of birth, if it is true, means if we are having some value instead of null or undefined, if it is if we are having some value, then we will keep it as same way, no issues, but else we will hard code it as 2000. Like this. Let's see if it is working or not. Okay, we have to check equals to undefined. If it is undefined, then this So what was happening? Now we were having we were passing three arguments. So a first name will be taking the first value, second argument will be taking the second value, and the third it will be taking third value. Earlier, YOB was in third place, so it was taking India. So that's why we were not we were getting undefined for the nationality. We were not getting undefined for this for the year of birth. So what I made year of birth at the last. Now, as we can see, we are having the three arguments. For the fourth argument, we are not having any value, and as we are not having any value, we will be getting undefined. So I'm checking here if YOB is undefined. If it is undefined, make I should do like this. If it is not undefined. If it is not undefined, keep the value as it is, else make the value as 2000. So as you can see in ES5V, we have to manually check all this. Means we have to, same goes for this F name, L name, and the nationality. We have to manually check, and then we have to see the position also. At which position we are extracting what value, which can be quite difficult because once we are passing a lot of values arguments in a function, it can be hard to check which argument is where, because all these arguments are known as positional arguments, where position of the argument matters a lot to the function. But same thing if we do in ES6, I will copy this and comment it out. And now what I will say, I will set is set. I will set a default value also. Let's say 2000. And here, from here, I will remove all. And I will. So earlier, when we are doing for the person John, for whom we are passing all the four values, we are getting 1990 as a year of birth. But if we are passing a person Mark, whose year of birth you don't know, at the time, automatically, it will take year of birth is 2000. So these are nothing but default parameters. Default parameters will come into use when we are calling the function, but we are not passing the proper parameters. We are not passing exact number of parameters. At the end, we want some value should be there by default. Let's say 2000, or you can make nationality also something different. So at the time, default parameters comes into role. Last thing about JavaScript which you should know about map. Now we are using map func. We will be using map capital M. We are not using small m. Small m is a method, whereas capital M you can take it as a property of a JavaScript or a function. So we have learned about arrays and objects. So map is also where we can store our data like an object only, key and a value, key and a value. So I will create one map variable const question, and I will say new map. Same like objects as we have done, or arrays, new array capital A or new object capital O. Now we want to set some like when map is used when you are doing some kind of a problem, for some kind of a multiple choice problem. For multiple choice problem, there will be a question, and after the question, there will be option A, tick mark, option B, option C, option D. Same goes here. So what I will do, I will write question dot set if you want to input some key value pair dot set. Now, this set will take two arguments, that is the key and the value. So my key will be the question, and my value will be what are we learning? It's my question. Afterwards, what I want to do, I will be setting some mm, some options like option B, option C, like this. So I will say question dot set, and I will pass one. One is our key, just to be sure, okay? And I will pass my value. YAML second key will be 2, 3, 4. CSS, JS, React. These are my questions. I will set one more question. I will set one more key value pair. I mean to say set, and I will say something like correct. Which one is correct answer? Check. Okay. Question dot set. One more last. I can even pass the boolean values, not only the numbers and the strings. I can even pass the correct answer. And for the wrong answer, we can make it as boolean value false. How can we check our all this map, which is similar to an object because we are having the key and a value? I will simply say console.log question, as simple as that. And here we are getting map. Just to be sure, if object was there, map was not written directly. This curly braces. So it's kind of an object where we are having the key and their values. We can do more stuff with the help of map, like we can iterate over this map. For objects we can't do, like in objects we are having like name equals to John, age is equals to 20. We can't iterate over it, we have to manually gather it. But in map it's not the case. We can go for each value and pair. I will say question dot for each, it will go each at a time, each key value pair at a time. So for each, it will accept one function and we will do something with it. Now, in parameters, what it will accept? It will accept key and a value. But to be sure, first it will take the value. It will extract the value, that is the what are we learning, HTML, CSS, JS, and React. And second argument will be the key. And how we can verify? I will say log question question is nothing. I will say value, sorry, and I will pass the value. Here I will do key, and here I will pass the value key. Commenting out. And now, as we can see, we are iterating over this. And what is the value? Value is what are we learning? Question is key. Same goes for others. And like this, we can iterate over it. Now, what else more we can do? We can delete any property, we can extract any property. How? I will just say console.log question dot get. Earlier we were setting, we were putting the values. Now we are extracting, we will use get method. Now, if you want to extract any value, you will be using the key get one. And if I just comment out all this again, need, and we are getting HTML. What if you want to delete log? I will say question dot get question, sorry, dot delete, delete. Now, if you want to delete something, again, with the help of a key, you will delete. Let's say I want to delete question, and now we have deleted. Again, I will do log question. So if we see our map, question property is no more there. Why it's not more there? Because we have already deleted. What if we try to delete one property more than one time? At the time, if you will see, first we are getting the true HTML we are getting from here. Then we are getting the true. True means our whatever we have specified, means whatever our command was delete, it was deleted. But second time false we are getting because it is not able to find that property which we are looking for. That is the question. And if that property is not there, it can't delete it. And if we are not able to delete, we are getting the false as a result. One last property. Let's say before deleting, you want to check if that key value pair is present or not. I will say log, and here in log, I will say question dot has, and here in has, I'll pass the question. And this is true, means it is having. So true, true, false. At the end, we are not having the question property, hence it is giving us false. Now, what is your task for the day? You have to create a simple HTML page. You have to create an HTML page. Now you have to use JavaScript, HTML both together. You'll be creating one JavaScript HTML page where one in center of the screen you will write your question. Then you will pass in some arguments like question A, question B, question C, and a little checkbox or a button as you wish, whatever you wish. And once the person clicks on the correct answer, you should give one type of an alert box alert that your question is correct, or if it is giving us the wrong answer, it should give us a alert box as a wrong answer. So this is your task. You have to now integrate both JavaScript and HTML together, and a bit of CSS to make it look nice. Just kindly do it because it will be helpful and it will be used later in the course. That's what I'm saying. Otherwise, if you will not do, I have to do after once we will doing this topic. I hope you got my question right. Anyone have any confusion? Did you got what I'm trying to say? What exactly you have to do it?
Yes, sir.
So can you please repeat, sir?
What you will do, you will create one HTML file. Okay, in HTML file, you have to display this question like what are we learning in HTML tags. Here, let's say you are presenting everyone. Here should come your question, what are we learning? Below that, you should have four options like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, or you can frame your own question that should be visible on the web page. Now, along with this option A, B, C, D, you should give one button. Okay, once the user clicks on that button, if the answer is correct, one alert box should come up. It should say your answer is correct. And if he's clicking on the wrong answer, it should come your answer is wrong. Okay,
Yes, sir.
everyone, please do it. We have done this much. Now coming to the asynchronous JavaScript. Async JavaScript is something very weird, which is not other programming are not having, and that's why most the people who don't understand about this keyword and async JavaScript they find really difficult. And this and asynchronous way, the why JavaScript works in asynchronous way is wanted behavior. Asynchronous means if you are, let's say, this task is running, although this task is nothing. Let's say you are storing something in your database. Now, when you are storing into your database, either locally, that is MySQL, or over internet like MongoDB, at the time it will take some time, split second of time. Why? Because it is interacting with another application. So till the time data is getting stored, we can't block our execution of the code. Same goes here. Let's say user is clicking on the button. It if you are storing that answer somewhere in database, it will take some time. Until the time you can't let the user to wait for the next scene, that is if your answer is correct or not. So what JavaScript people does, till the time your something in the background, or let's say interacting with the database or other things are running, it will not wait that program, it will not wait that command to finish. Directly it will move on to the next command, and in the background of the JavaScript the task will be keep on running until and unless it is finished. Once it is finished, according to that, if we have created some logic on that, like database, your data has been written to database, you want to display that. So after 1 second, 2 second, that pop-up will come up. So asynchronous, we have to understand now how asynchronous is happening. So right now we are not interacting with the database. What we will use, one not so real example. So I will be creating two functions and you people have to tell me the output. Function second, and here I will just do log second. That's all. Then now I will do function first. Function first, I will do log a. Then I will do log, not log, sorry. I will execute the second function. Now I will do log, and here in log I will say, end. Now I will execute the first function. Now I want Chetan or Gautam to answer this. What will be our output? Please be fast. It's a simple example, and I have told you earlier also, we have done already.
Hey, answer.
Tell me the full output. We are having three console.log. Second, hey, end. Tell me in which order what will be getting the first output, second console log, and third console.log. Hey, second, end. You were Gautam or Chetan? Gautam. Chetan, you never answer. I've seen you.
Sir, I have typed sir already.
You should speak it out, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, mute. Please mute. Now, I will modify my this second function. Here I will use set timeout. So set timeout again is something like a map method which will take one function and it will take basically it takes two arguments, but you can specify any number of arguments as you want. So first argument will be our function, what should get executed, and second argument will be sorry. Set timeout, it tells what should be executed in first argument. Second argument will be after how much time the function, that is this function, should get executed. I will say 2 seconds. So I'm writing 2000 because set timeout takes the number, uh, takes the time in milliseconds. So I'm saying that after 2 milliseconds, whatever we are writing within this function, within the set timeout function, that thing should be get executed. So I will say log, I will say async here. Okay? Nothing fancy. Now, out of Nikhil or Shreya, please answer what should be the output. You people know JavaScript, right? Both of you, little bit. Okay, Dikshit, please answer.
So A as a end and async here, sir. It will wait for 2 seconds, sir.
Hmm.
And after
So
it
just
will
see
execute.
here. So just see here. First we are getting hey. Again I will execute semi-console.log hey and it is taking some time. It after some time, that is how much time? 2 milliseconds. It is taking 2 milliseconds time, 2 seconds time, and then it is outputting this. So what happened? He's got printed. This function executed. Set timeout is there. This also has been started, and then afterwards it's waiting. Now this set timeout is his timer has been started, and timer is going on in the background of JavaScript. Once this timer has been done, once this timer has been done, whatever within the function, our logic, it will get executed. Here our logic was just to print. And same goes if we are doing some database stuff or some doing some HTTP request, because it will take some time. So this is how our asynchronous JavaScript works. Although it was quite a very easy example, we will do some bit difficult ones so that we can get to know what exactly we are doing. Here, I will now close off my terminal. Here is my small JavaScript HTML file. Here what I've done, I will run it for you people. Just see here, we are having just one button, fetch user. If I'm clicking on it, it is taking some time, again fetching user and then the max. Let's see our HTML file. We are having one button, fetch user, just a one ruler, afterwards one div, and nothing. And then afterwards we are doing our CB, that is CB is nothing but callback script. Let's understand our JavaScript code once. First of all, we are extracting that button, the button which we were having by the help of query selector, and we were having one div with a div tag. Afterwards, what we are doing? We are doing const set text. Just see here, now everywhere we will be using these arrow expressions, function expressions, you can see. At very few places we will be using normal functions. Why? Because arrow functions, with the help of arrow functions, we will get to know where this variable is pointing to. That's the whole reason. That's all. And this keyword will be always pointing to the global. Although we are not making use of this keyword here. So I created one arrow expression, set text, and div.text content equals to text. So this is all about DOM manipulation. The people who know how to manipulate HTML from JavaScript. This you can understand. Or else, what is more important? More important is these three functions. First of all, I've created these two functions. First is checkout. We are having some argument, as you can see. We are having only one argument. We are not putting parentheses, no need. And afterwards the arrow expression. In arrow expression, I'm saying text should be checking auth. Okay, checking auth will be displayed, and then the timer will be started. Once the timer has been started, we are doing cb callback equals to true. Just see my code, no need to understand, just the overview of it. Then I'm doing const fetch user callback, and here I'm setting my text as a fetching user, and then again I'm starting my timer for 2 seconds, and here I'm passing cb equals to name equals to the max, and then afterwards button add event listener click. When we are clicking on it, what should happen? It will go to checkout, our checkout, it will get executed. Why it will get executed? Because we are calling it. Although we are having within this checkout, we are having other things also. If I again go to my HTML file, just see. First it is doing checking auth, fetching user, and then max. So checking auth is taking 2 seconds, fetching user 2 seconds. After total 4 seconds, we are able, it's displaying max. So it will come here, check auth. We are passing one argument, that is auth, we are checking. And now, as soon as it will come here, it will see we are passing one argument, that is auth. So it has to take some value, means we have to give some name to the argument. So here I've said callback. What exactly is the callback? Callback is something that our pointer will be waiting till the time that callback function is not completely executed. In the last example, in my.es, in this, what we have seen that it is not waiting for this timer to finish. It is consoling, it is printing out end. But we don't want this. We want it to wait for this 2 seconds of time. So at the time callbacks used. So what I've done, callback, we are getting the callback from here, auth, it's nothing. So callback is here, checking auth is displayed for the 2 seconds. Why 2 seconds? After the 2 seconds, I am what I'm doing, this callback is nothing but a function within a function, and I'm passing true value to it. True. So true will be passed to auth. If auth is equals to true, now if true, condition is true, what I'm doing, I'm saying fetch user. I am calling this function fetch user, and I'm passing one argument user. Okay. Again, I'm saying callback. Why? Callbacks are those functions which will make the function to wait till the time they are not executed. Again, fetching user will be displayed for the 2 seconds. Set timeout after 2 seconds. What it will does, it will return. What it will return? It will return an object with the one key value pair, that is name equals to the max. And hence I'm saying set text equals to user dot name. So what is the sequence? First, from here it will get executed. Why? Because we have to execute it. We have to execute. We have to call that. We are calling here first the check auth. Check auth is accepting some argument, that is CB. It will wait for 2 seconds. Then it will pass the true value. Once it is true, it will go to the fetch user. Fetch user will wait for the 2 seconds, and then it will give one object, that is name equals to the max. It's really difficult. The people who are not understanding, they have to take some time. They have to work on this. Although we were doing in React, but try to execute small programs. And programs question you can easily find on Google. So this was about callbacks, means how our asynchronous JavaScript, how we can handle all those asynchronous. If we want, means like when it will be using authentication at the time, also when we write email and the password, what it will do, it will go to the database and check for the email and the password. So at the time we can't show some other page, we can't make it a dynamic like dashboard. It will be visible, it should be visible only when the authentication is true. So at the time we have to handle this asynchronous request. So at the time we can make use of callbacks. Second example, this was quite difficult and people use it, but still there are better ways to handle asynchronous. What is better way? Again, go back to my this HTML file. I will comment this out this, and now we will do something promises. What are promises? Again, I will run my code, check if it is working correctly or not. Fetch user. Maybe this should work. And yeah, so exactly same like what you have seen before, no changes. But now we will do solve this problem in a different way. What is the different way? First, these 5 lines are absolutely same, no change. Okay. This is also a callback example. Okay, here, async await, sorry. So the modern way that async await was introduced in ES6. Again, I will refresh my file. Let's see if it is working or not. And it's working. Yeah. Let's go to async await. Here we will see what we have done. First 5 lines are exactly the same, no changes. Now we are having the const auth. Now we are passing empty parameters. Just see, we are passing empty parameters. We are not passing any callback. and directly we are returning. Now what we are returning? Now there is something known as promises. What is promise does? Promise, like in general, we make a promise. Now, promise can be two things. Either it can exist and either it can be rejected based on the conditions. Same goes here in JavaScript. We are having the promise. Now here, accept here means resolve, means promise has been resolved, whatever it was promised. And if there is some error, it will be rejected. So directly and then as soon as we are writing the promise, just see here, it is one big full function, a function inside another function. So a new function, it will take as a callback. You can take it as a callback because whenever you are writing a function within a function, it will be a callback itself. So it will be having the two arguments each and every time, and the first argument will be resolved always. Or you can even see the result. Arguments are up to you, but first argument will contain the successful result, second argument will be containing unsuccessful result. Now, afterwards I'm saying set text this, and afterwards I'm saying resolve to true. And just to be sure, I'm making resolve as a function. We are calling it and we are passing the value true. As soon as we are passing the value true, after the 2 seconds, true will be returned from the checkout. Now coming to the fetch user. Now fetch user, I will say return new promise, resolve, reject, exactly the same, no issues. And after 2 seconds, I'm resolving, I'm not rejecting it. Here you can write reject and our whole working will go wrong. So I'm saying resolve, and after resolving, it should give some output. So I'm giving output as an object name equals to max. Now coming to here, button add event listener click. Now after click, what I'm doing, we know that we have to wait for this and we have to wait for this. We simply can't just execute this and then move on to fetch user, and after 2 seconds it will get displayed, and after 2 seconds it will get displayed. We will wait for 2 seconds here and afterwards we will move on. So when you have to wait for some function to finish, at the time there's something known as async function. What async function does, it will help you to wait for certain command at certain function. So I'll say async. Async is a keyword. You can give the function name also, like fun, if you want, no issues, but I'm not giving. So it's an anonymous function. Okay, async, and then I'm using arrow operator. Within the arrow operator, I'm saying const is or equals to. Now, what exactly it is? It is again a function expression. How you can say, so isauth is a variable, and I'm waiting. A wait is there. It will wait till the time this function is not getting executed. Okay. So after 2 seconds, it will give us the true. Once the true is done, true will be assigned to this. But before the 2 seconds, it will wait at line number 28. Our pointer will not shift at line number 29. 29. Then I'm creating one variable, let user equals to null. Is auth after 2 seconds will get some output. And then again I'm waiting. How much time? Till whatever time it takes. And after waiting, we'll get some result, and afterwards I'm doing set text equals to user.name. It's quite difficult, but it will take some time. For time being, I want you people to copy this. It's really important. Within 5 minutes, please copy, then we'll resume. Copied?
Yes, sir.
Others?
Yes, sir.
So in HTML file, what you have to do, you have to just uh, create one button, fetch user, and you have to link it, and one div. I hope you people can do it, right? Or just copy it down. HTML file also. By the way, why Lakshmi Kant is absent from last two classes? Anyone knows why he's absent from last two classes?
Don't know, sir.
He's also in your college, right? East West.
Yes, sir.
Let me know. Okay, just ask him. Text him.
Okay, sir.
And other who all is absent? Can you name me guys who all are absent from East West?
Krishna, sir.
Krishna was there. Who else? Two
Just
guys were absent. Guru. Okay, Guru. Guru. Have they left or they are busy with some work? Okay, this was all about our JavaScript. Let's now move on to React. So as you guys know till now, means why we learn JavaScript? Because for the React JS, and React JS is completely on JavaScript. If you will see like other frameworks like Vue and Angular, they are also working on JavaScript, but on not core JavaScript. Whereas React is built on the core JavaScript, and developers works on the core JavaScript itself. So what actually is a React? React is nothing but it's a JavaScript library for building user interfaces. Now, what is JavaScript library? If you will see the documentation of other front-end frameworks like Vue or Angular, they are exactly the frameworks. But React is not a framework. It was made like a framework by third-party libraries and by other things. But but documentation of React, it says it's a JavaScript library. It is just helpful. It's a library. It's helpful for building UI interfaces. UI interfaces are nothing but whatever we can see on the HTML page: buttons, divs, spans, sections, headings. All that are nothing but a user interfaces. Now, as we are working with the JavaScript libraries, those interfaces will be known as components. So a separate component. Let's say there's an navbar. It is one component, and then we are having header. It's one component. So each individual HTML tags are known as components. Now, if we see component in detail, how exactly the component look like? This is our website. So in website, we'll be having something known as navbar. We always have one navbar. It is known as header, so it will be treated as one separate component. Afterwards, we can have a sidebar here or some image gallery here. It will be treated as one component, then the heading, and then the article content. So here in this small basic website, we are having four components, but as the website gets larger, we'll be having a lot of components. Now, for very big websites, it becomes very complex and complicated to manage all these stuff, because once if we are writing an HTML page, for this only it will take a lot of code, and once our it's get bigger and bigger, all so many things, our HTML code also sometimes gets difficult to manage. And in second thing, in HTML everything is hard coded, as we know. So if we say header, header is something on the navbar which is on the each and every page, right? So if we have to change the logo, then we have to change the logo on each and every page. And that is not a good practice. So that's why we will use React or some other frameworks, so that we can change at one place and it will be reflected at all the components. Second use is that as the website becomes larger, there will be a lot of things to do. And one sole developer can't do. He will be needing a team. If there is an HTML code, they have to separate the HTML code, and it can happen that someone is designing this header, has made some additional changes, and instead of this horizontal, now he has made this navbar as vertical, as we have seen in website. So, and the person who are building sidebar and the headline, they will be thinking that header is in horizontal way, not in vertical. So their whole code will get messed up. But if we are using components each and individually, we will be not having such kind of a confusion, because this has a separate code. It will be not at all linked with this code. Whereas in HTML, we have to link it. Let's say body tag, within the body tag, everything is linked up. Whereas in JS, it will not be. It will be completely one separate, independent, totally independent. It does not care what is there, means what is beneath or above it. Same goes with the sidebar and the heading. So if we see a website, let's say the same basic website in detail, let's say we are having the web page. So each web page will be split into granular pieces of the components, and within the list components we'll be having the list items, ul, li, all this what I've told you. Now, coming to what actually is React. So as I told you, React is used for the big complex website, so that we can easily manage our code. Second use of React is to make SPS. SPS is nothing but single page application. And why exactly single page application? Because if we are having one single page, what will happen? It will interact with the server only once. And so if it is interacting with the server only once, it will only when we are loading the website, at the time only all of the content will be downloaded, or will be downloaded from the server. It will be downloaded from the server. So once it is downloaded from the server, we don't have to interact with the server. As we know, whenever we are interacting with the server, page will be reloaded. And if the page is getting reloaded, it is if the page is getting reloaded, it will take 1 or 2 seconds time. And if it is taking 1 or 2 seconds time, it is not a good user experience. So if you go to this website, reactjs.org, it's official website. So this website is completely built on React. How you can see this as header as a one component. This is a second component. And now, as you can see, there's some similarity between these three boxes. These three boxes are of same width. They are having the heading, and then comes their content. What is changing? The text. Text is changing. So what we can do? We can create one component and we can multiply it as many times as we want. Same goes here. We are having these so many components. So here what is happening? They are having some width. Then with this component is split it into three subparts. One is this, then this sort of editor, and then the result tab. So what we can do is to create one component, divide it into subparts, and then we can multiply it many times. And if you go to docs, you just see page is not getting reloaded, means it is nothing is getting here in our title. Just see here, if we go to docs, it's not spinning. Whereas if you go to other website, this spinner will be coming. Whenever this title here it is spinning, it means that it is interacting with the server. And this is how we can get to know whether it is a single page application or not. React JS, so they have to build a single page application to demonstrate. React is built by the Facebook, so everything of the Facebook Messenger, Facebook, it is all built on React. And you can just see, if you will go to your friends here or clicking on any page will not get reloaded, only the URL will be changing. And that is something known as routing. So second comes multiple page application. So many of the times we'll be using we will not doing, we will be only doing the single page application because this is how we follow the practice. But many of the websites in Facebook itself, a whole Facebook website has not been developed into the React. If you will see, at some places you will get the different layout, and at some places you will get the different layout. All this is because they are still integrating it, because it's a very complex website, a very big website, and so it will take some time. And secondly, the React is the most modern framework up till now. Angular was built around 2010, and then the React came in 2015. So hardly it has been 5 years. So, and to get anything to get famous, it takes a lot of time. Although the newest framework is Vue, but not many people use it. The very good framework are React.js or the Angular. Angular is built by Google, and React is built by the Facebook. Now, before going ahead and seeing installing it into our local environment, which takes some time, we will directly do on the web browser without setting up anything. And from tomorrow, we will be installing on our local server, in our local computer, sorry. So if I want to do some task, like I don't have that, let's say I don't have installed Node.js or any other stuff. So there is something known as CodePen. If you go to CodePen here, and then I will directly do start coding. So it is also an editor, same like our local environment, but it will not get saved. To get saved, you have to create one account, and there you can do you can save all this. So here I will just demonstrate a very simple example, and then we will again do a bit of theory which is needed, and then we will install it tomorrow. Just give me one second. So here I will create one simple layout, let's say one div, and I will give a class as person, and within this I will having one heading, and heading I will name max, and then I will be having the p tag. Here I will say age equals to 20. That's all. And I will duplicate this code. I will print it again. And here I will say menu age is equals to 30. I will give a bit of styling so that it doesn't look ugly. Here in person, let's say I want to be in same line. I will say display in line block. Now they are too much side by side. I will say margin so that equals to 10 pixels. Let's give it a border also. Border equals to 1 pixel solid gray color. Afterwards, box shadow to make it look good. X-axis, Y-axis, Z-axis, and then the color of the shadow, sort of black. I'll give the width. Width I will give as 200 pixels, and maybe padding also. Padding is also 20 pixels. So let's say we are having the two divs. It can be any div. So if you are writing the normal HTML, what we have to do, we have to create two separate divs, or we can say two separate components. This is one component and this is another component. So this is depending upon this how as we are using the line block, so whatever is there, like menu, it will be after the max, or if we delete this and put it afterwards, it will be the first one. So this is how we can do it in HTML and Java's the CSS. But let's make use of React. Now, as we are using React, and this is a normal JavaScript, we have to tell this compiler that we have to make use of React. How exactly we can do? Here in React, I can create, first of all, as we'll be using this next generation JavaScript, that is ES6, and I made you to install Babel. So same goes here. We'll be using Babel, and then comes here React. Just type it React here, and we will taking the two things. First one is the React itself, and second is React DOM. So what is the difference between these two? First one, React, it is used to write our logic, our code. Second, React DOM, as the name suggests, DOM, it will help us to make to write whatever we're writing our JavaScript code, converting into an HTML form. Let's see how. So before that, now I will delete, I will comment it. Instead of this, I will create one separate div, and I will give it as a class for ID. ID will be preferred. ID equals to p1. So as I told you, React is all about components. So now we will be using this div component. Within it, we want to display max, and the age is equals to 20. Within this, with the help of React, also known as React component. So how exactly we will do? First of all, we will create one function, and just to be sure, I'm using capital P, not small p. Reason I will tell you later. And within this, I will return my HTML code. How exactly? I will write the return keyword, as you people know. Return. And what I want to return? I want to return exactly the same thing. No changes. As we are using multiple, as we are returning our thing, that is HTML code only, you can say, but inside it is just I can say it's a syntax. It's just a syntactical sugar, which means that all this HTML code will be converted into JavaScript, and then JavaScript code will be rendered to the HTML file, or I can say a browser, and the web browser will be converting that JavaScript code into the HTML form. And then once it is converted to the HTML, we will be able to see. So we are returning this. Where we are returning? We are just returning it here itself, and we are not calling this function also. We will not call this as a function, we will call this as a component. Why? Because we are displaying one component. And whenever we want to display any component, we use the function name, we use as a function name starting with a capital uppercase, that is capitalized. So that's why I'm writing the capital P, not the small p. Now I want to render this where? On the screen. For that, I have installed React DOM, and React DOM will be doing exactly that. I will say React DOM React DOM dot render. Now it is rendering, but where it should get displayed. So that's why I will say react render. I will say what to render. I will say this person component should be rendered. So how we will render? We will do something like curly angular brackets. We will take it as a tag, like we are having the div tag, h1 tag. So same way we have done, we have given the tag name as a person, this person, and we have enclosed it within angular brackets as we do in HTML. Render, where to render? I want to render here in this ID. So I will say document.query selector, simple docu dot query selector. Query selector, and I will say hash v1. And now, as soon as we are rendering with the help of the React DOM, we are able to see max and the menu, both the components. But now we are rendering first that is max with the help of the React. Everything is exactly the same except this styling. This it is not in same line. That is display inline block is not working. And why exactly it is not working? Because we are only rendering one div, and div we already know it's a something, it's a block element, that which means it will take in this whole space. That's why. Same goes, now we will also render this person p2 with the help of React. So I will say div, and id will I will give as p2. How exactly we can do? We can create one more function. Let's say person2, and here I will say menu age is equals to 30. I will copy this line, paste it here. My component name is person2 now, and instead of p2. And now we can see like this. But we are duplicating our code, and this is not the use of React, right? What we will do? We want only one component, that is one component. So we are having this exactly same type of component, only what is changing, that is the text. Inside the text, that is name, and the age is changing. So what I will do, I will remove it off because we don't want to duplicate our data. I will cut it off, and I will try to use only a single component. For that, what I will do, I will make use of arguments. We have learned about arguments. So here, arguments are nothing but props. We call them props in React. And now I will pass what I will say instead of max. I will say now as I'm writing the JavaScript, pure JavaScript within this HTML, we will make use of curly braces. So I will say props dot name and age will be equals to props dot age. Don't get confused. Everything is JavaScript, even the div one. This is also a JavaScript, but this is a syntactical sugar. So we have to tell the compiler, like Babel or some whatever we are using. We have to tell that please don't convert this props.name into something else. Please don't convert into a HTML. It is a JavaScript and we want to leave it as a JavaScript, and hence we are using this curly braces. Now, how can we pass the value? Here, I will pass the value as name. Sorry, I got disconnected. So we were here, right, everyone? You were listening me till here.
Sir, screen is not visible.
Oh, okay. We were till here, right? You people were listening till here, everyone? You people were listening till here, right? Correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now what we will do, we will pass an arguments, because to make it dynamic, we will pass the arguments. Name equals to max and age equals to, I will say, 20. Same goes here. I will copy this and print it out. Instead of 20, I will say 30. Name also changed. And now we are having no person to, only the person. And now we are getting exactly like this. Just the 2 lines of this, just the 2 lines. And then we have created only one component, and we are using just one component to render different text, name and the age. But next thing is that what we also want that it should be displayed in a single like before, max, and beside it menu, a different component. How we will do it? For that, I will again comment it out, all this, and here directly I will do create one div, and here I will give the ID as an app. Now our CSS styling will be also same, no change. So here I will create one more function, just a variable, not a function also. Var app, you can give any name what you want, and directly, as I want to return in multiple statements, I will use this parenthesis div, and within the div, what I want person component. It's a component just. So what I will do, I will just copy it from here. Paste. I will close this div here. We don't need to render. Now we will render only once. And what we will render? We will render this app. Why app? Because app is containing a div. It is containing a div, and within those divs, it is containing person 1 and the person 2. And it is using the same component, only the arguments are changing. So again, instead of P1, I will say app. And second thing, here we want to make use of div equals to class person. So as we know in JavaScript, there's something known as classes, like in function Java we are having. So we don't want to get confused with the class keyword and class of CSS in HTML. we use class name instead of class. Class name equals to person. So, and this is how we do with the help of an React. So we have created a simple two components what we were having with the help of an React, and this is the most of the times we will be doing this only, but our logic, the way we will be rendering all those parameters will be different. So I will just share this code to you, and over the code pen, what you can try passing different arguments or styling it in a different ways and just see the changes. And just it will be good if you will create one account on CodePen also, because sometimes it's not about JavaScript. You can do any type of web development using React, because if you will do on local, you have to set up all those like node we have already installed, but sometimes it can happen you are doing something else, so you have to install all this stuff and afterwards you will never use it. So why to just simply waste computer memory, all that stuff? Just do it only here, CodePen. So we have just created a one simple application. We have written our first code also, and you people also try it out afterwards. Now comes why we should choose React. We have already seen a lot of examples, few more. So React helps us to deal with many problems which are having in JavaScript. UI, first of all, UI state becomes difficult to handle with vanilla JavaScript. What exactly is the vanilla JavaScript? Vanilla JavaScript is the JavaScript which runs on browser. So still, vanilla browser JavaScript is not using ES6 features. Some of the ES6 features, which, or I can say some server side thing like npm packages, it does not handle correctly. But as now React is a framework, we can use a modern JavaScript. We can even use TypeScript also, if you ever heard. So now TypeScript is replacing JavaScript at many places, and it is keeps on growing on. Why? Because JavaScript is more easier than JavaScript. But to learn TypeScript, you should have a fundamental knowledge about JavaScript, because it is completely built on JavaScript itself. Where we can do if we are using 5 lines of code in JavaScript, it can be done within 2 lines. Second thing, focus on business logic, not on preventing our app from exploding. What does it mean? So if we business logic, business logic is quite dynamic itself. Like for purchasing website, like retail website, where we will be customers will be buying, and if customers are buying all those things, so there should be a way to manage all that stuff, because retail they will be paying it also, so we have to manage all that things. It is quite dynamic. So till now, before React, all this, there was only jQuery, and jQuery is not preferred to use, because first of all it is having a lot of security flaws, and secondly it is not that compatible also. It is still lacking all those new features what ES6 gives us. Last not the least, this React is having a huge ecosystem, active community, hype, and last not the least is high performance. Why high performance? Because we create a single page applications. As we are creating a single page applications, we don't have to interact with the server. And as we are not interacting with the server, it will be all the changes will be on the user's click. As soon as the user click, whatever it has to happen, it will happen. It will not wait for server to respond, and hence it is high performance. Active community, you can find any solution regarding a problem on Stack Overflow. Last not the least is coming to the React alternatives. So React, other than this, we can use Angular and the Vue, as you people know, and jQuery also you can use if you want to, but it is not preferred. Secondly, to become a full stack developer, you should know one of the things, Angular or React or Vue. Then only you will be called as full stack developer. It's not like that you will learn Node as a backend and in front end you are still using traditional HTML, JavaScript. You will not called as full stack developer. Next comes understanding of single page application and multi-page application. So when we are using a single page application, at the time, our whole web page will be controlled by React. We'll be having only one React element, one HTML page, and based on the clicks, based on what the user do, our layout will be changing. What we saw in React homepage. We can see the home page, but as soon as we are clicking on the docs, our layout is different, text is different, and URL also different. But it is not asking for the server to give the web pages. It is already having. So it typically uses React DOM.render call only once. As in our CodePen example also, we have used only once. It's a single page. Whereas in multiple page, as the name suggests, multiple page, let's say authentication, your user will log in and sign up. It will go to the database. And then render a different web page, that is your dashboard or the profile. So at that time, everything is not managed by React. Only the parts of it is managed by the React. For the complex website, we use multi-page, but still single pages is the practice which we all use. So this was all about React, why we use React, and the React brief introduction. From tomorrow, we will install React on our local machine, and from our local machine, we will create an app. Any doubts, any questions you want to ask, you can ask now. No? If no doubts, we can wrap up the session. No doubts, should we conclude the session? Please
Yes, sir.
respond. Okay, thanks a lot. And please do that whatever I told you to do, an assignment. It will be useful in future. Okay, thanks a lot.